Good morning, everyone. We're just waiting for one more person for a quorum to join the meeting. I'll leave the audio on in the boardroom, and we'll let you know when we get ready to get going. Thank you.
It's a brotherhood. You know, you can say I'm a Rotarian and a Lion, you know, whatever. Oh, I think it's really nice. It's. Oh, good, she's got all. Okay, she's good. Yeah, they had those, yeah, most schools, most schools have those. So they're all.
Okay, coaches, but I told someone I had a son. I think it was Mark from Village, and he's saying his right hand behind his back. So it could be a left-handed pitcher. And baseball people, man, I'm not a baseball guy. I'm thinking basketball. You need that. Started when kid.
So it doesn't look like we're gonna have a quorum.
Maybe. I played soccer and basketball, so it was easy to either use your feet or your hands. Not complex throwing mechanisms. No.
Well, if you'd like to have.
Budget presentations just for
Good.
information.
Well, teacher
I
here,
didn't see
so.
anything to vote on or action. Okay.
It's a good.
It's 10:15.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like we're gonna get a quorum.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna say. Hey,
I
sir,
thought it was a really good place.
Can we,
Oh, what's the name is there? Lewis is there.
you can't hear me. Can someone, is my mic on? Oh, Ron, can
mine
we
isn't either.
possibly just, could we
Yeah,
just do
that's
a
what I'm
public
saying. We could just
presentation?
go ahead and get started.
And we just won't vote on anything, but.
Exactly.
Present the
I'm-
budget so that can be, could that be placed on file? Can we legally
Well,
do that?
I don't think we're gonna vote on the budget today. I think it's just for a presentation.
Correct, that's accurate. So
Yeah.
we can see what it is.
Right.
Okay.
You have Lewis here. I was just talking. I'm sorry.
So we can still go ahead and get started. Melina won't be able to join us. She did send me a text message earlier.
And
So,
Strathman Cheryl was just online. Did she take off?
Yeah, she's not on this committee.
she's not on a committee.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've got the wrong.
And yeah,
wrong
and where
committee.
Davis is at, he did not know whether or not he'd be able to get signal. He just sent me a message, so he's trying to get signal. But we can go ahead and move on if our technician is ready.
All right.
All right. All right, so it is of the hour 10 o'clock. This is Ron Ford. I am the chairman for the Jobs Committee for this Friday, August 12th of 2022. Clerk, will you please do a roll call?
Iqbal,
Iqbal present.
Kopi, Lewis,
Lewis here.
Molina, Wallace, Davis, Ford.
Ford present.
You do not have quorum.
Okay, so we'll postpone the approval of minutes until our next meeting. So we'll move on to the Workforce Development Division. And Scott.
Good morning. Good morning,
Good
Chairman
morning.
Ford. Scott Berger and Maria Gonzalez are on the phone online. We only have one item for you today. It's informational in nature. It's our monthly financial reports regarding the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act funding. You may recall at your last meeting, Maria did disclose to you that she believed we were going to pass the obligation and direct training benchmarks. The reports that she has for you today are effective June 30th, which is the close of our program year. And so this news is a bit delayed, or the numbers are a bit delayed for your consideration today. But at this time, I would like to ask Maria to walk you through the battery of reports that we have for you, and certainly call the committee's attention to those benchmark issues. Maria?
Thank you, Scott. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Starting on your packet, page 3, that is the Wioa 20 grant. That grant officially ended on June 30th. We do not have any more funding for that. All funds were expended for that grant as of the June 30th report. If you recall at the last meeting, I did mention that there was a lot of direct training expenses that were coded incorrectly. All of the reclassifications for that did take place for the reporting, which then caused our direct training benchmark to be at 54%. If you recall, our requirement for that is the 50. So cleaning up those expenses and putting them in the proper code helped us to reach our benchmark. You will also see that in the memo, I provided the expenditures for the OJTs that were spent during this program year out of the Wioa 20 grant, which totaled up to $55,931 for the adult and dislocated funds. For the Wioa 21 grant that starts on page 4 of your packet, with this grant, this is ending the first year of the 2-year cycle. And with the first year, we are held accountable to a set of benchmarks, as Scott mentioned. One of them was the direct training. It's 54% for both grants. They combine them both and then look to see how we do. So we met that one. We were able to report obligations for all of our funding streams that exceeded the required 80%. If you look to the middle section of your page, on page 4, you see the obligations on the left-hand side. For adult, we reported 93% of obligations, and for dislocated worker and youth, we reported 100%, meaning that with the expenditure plan that we created and was approved, we will be able to fully spend down those funds and then carry into the new funding that started July 1st of this year. The OJT information you will find in the memo. Currently for the Wioa 21 grant, we spent over $52,000 on the job training activities. We have over $166,000 that are out there that we have not yet paid. And then we have 3 incumbent worker projects that equal $87,000. So that part of activity has been starting to pick up, and we're seeing more and more things coming through for that. Lastly, on page 5 of your packet is the trade grant report. We have until September 30th to fully spend down the remaining $76,000 that we have allocated to us. We're working through it, and as activity comes through, we'll convert it into an actual expense to report more accurate information. Any questions?
Any questions for Maria? All right, seeing none, we thank you for the report. We're gonna move on. The only comment I have for as chair is that we're looking to do a second roundtable discussion. It's gonna be on IT, and I believe when we get more information, we'll get it out to you. Next, we have the Jobs Committee report, the update Economic Development Initiative. I don't know if Mark's doing that or.
Yeah, good morning. This is Mark Van Kerkhoff. A couple of updates. One, our Kane County Workforce Housing Summit planning is in full gear. In fact, registration closes tomorrow. We have about 80 folks registered as of yesterday. We may get some more yet today. We've got a good variety of attendees signed up, a little bit low on the elected official area from our municipalities. But we are going to be videoing the sessions, the panel sessions, and we'll be able to have that available to help the event live on past the in-person event. And we're very grateful to our IT team and their ability to do that for us. The other thing, and we're learning a lot just assembling the panels and talking to folks. One of which is that our economic developers for our municipalities and organizations are extremely busy with lots of interest in activity and potential projects. The number one commodity in Kane County, as elsewhere in the region and the country, is workforce. Workforce is the new gold. The communities and regions that plan for housing for workers are going to be the ones that are going to be successful in attracting, retaining, and supporting all the other aspects of our communities, our education system, our healthcare system, our tourism-based hospitality, all those sectors. It'd be an important event. We're looking forward to that. Otherwise, from a staff team here, we continue to be involved in the regional effort, which a lot of things are moving quickly with that now. There should be some announcements in the next couple of months in terms of the formation of a partnership and some concrete actionable steps. There will be some costs to the counties to participate, just like there was when we were part of the Chicago Regional Growth Initiative. And that we're hoping to be able to pay for out of ARPA funds as well. So we'll keep you updated on that as that develops. A couple of state level activities. One, we're still waiting to hear back from our application for a RISE planning grant, which would help us do a strategic countywide economic development plan with the idea of launching an economic development organization. That application went in May. We were hoping to hear in July. I was hoping to hear before today, but the state is processing a lot of applications and activities. So we hope to hear back on that shortly. In the meantime, the state did release about a week and a half ago, a second round of the tourism attraction grant, which is also out of state ARPA funds. Some of that can be used for capital projects. So we're looking at applying for that for some of our projects that we'd like to do with the Forest Preserve, park districts, municipalities, and improving launch sites in the Fox River and establishing new launch sites, which all help our fabulous Fox water trail initiative. And that grant is due towards the end of September. So we'll get done with the Workforce Housing Summit and be right on to another grant opportunity. And then finally, we're continuing to work with our ARPA committee and Peter Phillips and the ARPA applications. And A couple things just to note. One of our applications is to support our manufacturers. We were proposing to partner with IMEC, which we have in the past. And two programs have been recently launched by other counties working with IMEC that are good models. One is McHenry County, where they allocated a good chunk of their ARPA money to sub-recipient, I guess you could put it, with IMEC. And then yesterday, Cook County announced their partnership with IMEC, and that is similar to what we were originally proposing, a reimbursement directly to manufacturers for the cost of doing projects that help their sustainability and recovery and advancement into the future. So we're continuing to look at how both those programs are structured so that we can learn from the best and make it suit our program. And with that, that's all I have for today on reports, unless there's any questions.
Mr. Ford, may I speak?
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I have two comments. It's come to my attention because I have a friend who's looking for an apartment, and she's part of workforce and she children. That a 2-bedroom apartment currently is at 1,700, and a 3-bedroom apartment has the opportunity for that is slightly under 2,000 a month. So I don't have an envelope, so it's kind of a back of the Jobs Committee report math. And you would need approximately an income of $60,000 to be able to even basically afford that apartment. When we know that many of our salaries are ranging, and I can say that in Kane County, anywhere from about 30 to 50 seems to be, or mid 50 seems to be the spot that many of our employees have. So you'd need to have 2 incomes coming in to be able to support that specific household, if indeed you have children, and then children multiply that by quite a bit of money. So that's, as we all know with kids. So that it is a stretch, and the workforce housing effort is, I'm applauding both of you for putting this together, having a concept actually become a reality, and having 80 people registered here is phenomenal. So I know they're going to be knocking on many doors after this meeting is over with, and continued conversation. So thank you for that. The other totally different topic. There was a grant I remembered that you spoke about previously, a support for businesses that would allow them, I think, to put up solar panels or do some energy conservation issues. Is that correct?
Yeah, you're thinking of our CPACE, our Commercially Property Assessed Clean Energy Program, which we call KEEP, or the Kane Energy Efficiency Program.
Several weeks ago, there was a request from a individual who's putting together a truck storage facility in Elgin. And there was conversation about water runoff. And I spoke to Ms. Walnick afterwards about this. And he's just doing the right thing. He truly is. But could we possibly consider extending that to groundwater runoff as well? So that I know that there is some procedures protocol to protect the runoff for groundwater, so that even though it's an existing site, for those individuals who are good corporate citizens and could have that information, and maybe something that they would like to consider. So it's not just the building, it's actually the parking lot or storage area.
Yeah, we can look into that. The CPACE program is specifically for energy savings projects. It's guided by state guidelines that the legislature passed, but we can look into that on how that might site-related work might be involved.
Okay, very good. And if it's something that we need to go knock on Springfield's door about, we have now the capacity to do that.
Okay, we'll inquire about that.
Oh, thank you so much. Save the water.
Yeah, good question. It's going to be interesting how this is going to work out with housing in the very near future. Any other questions? All right, anything else from Mark or Chris?
Not at this time. Thank you.
All right. Moving on then. Any new business? All right, so we're gonna move on to our fiscal year 2023 budget presentation.
Okay, good morning again. This is Mark Van Kerkhoff. You have in your packet the budget presentation for Jobs Committee. And also, my understanding from finance is that the budget summary and detail for Economic Development Fund 400 is online. If you have any specific questions. Next slide, please. So generally, the Development Community Services Department, we have a number of programs, building and zoning, code enforcement, administrative adjudication, and countywide planning are generally general fund budgets. The economic development related activities of our department are mostly supported through Fund 400, which is the topic this morning. Also includes the Kane Energy Efficiency Program and farmland preservation are growing for Kane local food businesses. Programs all report through Agriculture Committee. There's a very significant tie economic development wise between the activities of the Agriculture Committee and those programs and the Jobs Committee. Next slide, please. So this is an org chart of our entire team. What I did was the three key members involved in economic development are myself, Chris Toth, and Karen Miller, primarily with her work with the fabulous Fox Water Trail as an economic driver. Next slide, please. Our priority activities are to launch a countywide economic development organization, promote the fabulous Fox Water Trail for tourism, and support agricultural and local food businesses and expanding broadband in the county, which obviously has an economic benefit. Next slide, please. And we do this with a number of funding sources, the primary one being Fund 400 Economic Development, which is supported through the Riverboat Fund. Our internal request for 2023 is the same as it was for this current year, which was just recently approved, and we appreciate that. Basically refreshing the fund for activities. We have some cash on hand in the fund, which are available when we do have very quick turnaround times for matching grants and other emerging opportunities. Potential additional funding that we continue to apply for. The state funding that I just mentioned in the report for the RISE grant and tourism attraction grant, our own Kane County American Rescue Plan funds. We continue to apply for and look at USEDA and USDA grants. We recently were awarded almost $300,000 USDA grant for agriculture innovation, which again is primarily reported to the Agriculture Committee, but we're very excited about what we're going to be able to do with those USDA grant funds over the next 2 years. And then newer in the last couple of years has been the return of congressional earmarks, which are submitted through the congressional offices. And again, those are opportunities we're learning now that they've awarded their first round, what kind of things seem to be competitive with our congressmen and with the Senate offices. Next slide, please. So basically our summary, there's not a lot of change from this current year. It includes paying for portions of 3 staff salaries that I mentioned in our org chart. We may be introducing budget adjustments in 2023 to allow for if we application and use of any of the ARPA funds, depending on how Finance Department wants to structure those within the budget once those are allocated, and then other grant awards such as the RISE and tourism grants. Any questions? I'm happy to answer those, but this has been a very, in my opinion, very good use of Riverboat funds in the past, and appreciate the continued support of the committee and the board on that. And we continue to be able to be flexible and responsive to opportunities. Thank you.
Any questions for Mark? Very good presentation. So looking forward to more that we can get done and moving forward with all that. So nothing else. Any public comments? We can't put the reports placed on file without a quorum, I believe. We have no need for executive session. Motion to adjourn.
Lewis, motion.
Eight ball second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy
See
your
you
golf
all.
outing.
Hope to raise a lot of funds. So last year we raised about 37,000 for our youth for scholarships.
Awesome.